Hello, my name is Emanuela Howley, and I'll be discussing some of the considerations and challenges related to the transition to adulthood, post-secondary education, and employment in our students with autism spectrum disorder. An increased number of individuals diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder are reaching their goal of pursuing higher education. Often, support services may be insufficient to ensure success for these individuals. Students with autism often choose solitary activities and experience loneliness due to the lack of involvement or deficits in social skills. Often students who are high functioning feel the sting of social isolation in greater ways because they're more self-aware and can understand some social cues from others. Feelings of inadequacy or rejection may cause further isolation and loneliness. Students must learn to self-advocate in order to access services and be successful. Anderson et al. Sought to determine how support systems are used by college students with autism spectrum disorder. An internet discussion board utilized by students with ASD was the forum used to collect data for the study. Questions posed to the forum included: who or what are support systems available to students with autism spectrum disorders? How does a student find these supports? How do students utilize these supports? And are these services valued or effective? Students listed academic advisors, counseling centers, tutors, and Office of Disability Services and professors as sources of support. Students reported finding support services in a variety of ways, including student orientation, online searches, and by exploring the campus grounds themselves. In a study by Asbaugh et al., students attended weekly clinical meetings and were asked to keep a social activity log of any social activities attended throughout the week. Weekly intervention sessions consisted of 5 components: motivational interests, social activity choice, organizational skills, support from typical peer mentor, and social skills training. Social validity was measured via a self-report satisfaction questionnaire provided at baseline and post-intervention to determine each participant's level of satisfaction related to school experiences. Results show that each of the 3 participants increased social interaction following intervention, had an increase in the number of community-based social activities and extracurricular activities and peer interactions. The data also showed collateral improvement in academic performance and overall satisfaction for each of the participants. The college years are meant to be years of personal growth and maturity for both students with and without disabilities. However, for students with autism spectrum disorder, these years can be difficult to negotiate. Moving from the comfort, predictability, and acceptance of their home to navigating roommate relationships, social norms regarding shared living spaces, underage drinking, risk-taking behaviors, and romantic relationships can cause confusion and uncertainty. Less widely available are social emotional supports, and given many individuals' hesitancy to disclose their disability, these services are less sought out. Individuals with autism often display weakness in executive functioning and planning, tracking and managing due dates, and completing assignments in a timely fashion, which all can cause academic challenges. Research on the post-secondary experience of adults with ASD in the world of work remains limited, and available data depicts a pessimistic picture of employment opportunities for this population. While research is lacking, one predictor consistently correlates intellectual capacity and success in post-high school occupation and employment activities for ASD. Greater IQ scores correlate to increased social functioning and independence in employment activities, while those with intellectual disability have less optimal social functioning or independence. Taylor and Seltzer determined that the same low rate of employment was found in similar studies that included a broader age range of participants. Many individuals who were employed were either underemployed or employed in menial jobs or were not employed full-time. It is well documented that children who receive high levels of parental involvement in their school careers do better overall. The same holds true for our students with ASD, and family involvement was also associated with sustained employment in ASD adults. It is also well documented that families who parent children with ASD experience increased emotional, financial, and physiological stress. These stress levels increase prior to enrollment in college or upon leaving high school. Parents are concerned about whether their children have the academic skills necessary to be successful in college. They are also concerned about their children being able to manage residential living and social relationships. Parents may also be concerned about whether their child will receive the academic and non-academic supports they need. Time management, the planning and tracking of due dates, and organizational skills for this population is a challenge. Additionally, consideration should be made to determine how to best support the families of these individuals, because as previously stated, research suggests that family support positively impacts the success of these individuals. Taylor and DeWalt suggest further studies should focus on family interventions, parent functioning, and the support of parents in their changing roles. Schools are mandated to begin the transition process in earnest on or before a student turns 14 years old. These plans should consider both academic and vocational considerations, as well as living arrangements as a child grows older. A student should always be present and involved in the planning process as much as they possibly can. Their preferences and interests should be considered no matter what avenue they intend to pursue. Once a child is enrolled in post-secondary schooling, the challenge remains the increased number of students with autism spectrum disorder and the difficulty that post-secondary institutions have in keeping up with the needed supports and services. As our students transition to adulthood and potentially leave home to study, there are several skills that should be taught to help ensure their success. Safety skills are vitally important. Negotiating relationships, especially romantic ones for both male and females, are important. Also, simply navigating the college campus at night or perhaps the surrounding community can be difficult to negotiate for some of our students. Self-advocacy as it relates to academic supports, as in securing services from the Office of Disability Services at school, with their boss, and in social relationships. Additionally, any problem behaviors, such as anger or frustration, should be addressed and replacement skills should be taught. Social skills can be difficult to teach due to the many possible outcomes of social interactions. This is a skill that may be best taught in a variety of settings. Our students with ASD are often amenable to rules and rule-governed behavior that has resulted in reinforcement for following the rules and punishment for not following the rules. Young children learn through imitation, and these strategies can continue to be used when our students grow older. Feedback from teachers, professors, or a boss will provide a student with information regarding their performance and areas of strengths and weakness. If a student is able, self-monitoring techniques can be valuable. And as with all our students, generalization strategies should be included in any teaching strategy. Behavior plans are useful in setting goals and tracking progress for our students. Goals should be operationally defined, important to the client, and then taught. New behavior should be supported initially. So for instance, a parent might accompany a student to the Office of Disability Services. Perhaps they could help set up a study schedule with the student or a calendar with due dates for each class. If a child is seeking employment, perhaps a parent could accompany the student to a job interview. Those supports could be faded over time as our students gain more confidence. Appropriate reinforcers should be identified, so salary, scholarship, perhaps a car if our student drives. Generalization should be planned for across goals to support future success. Data should be gathered and progress should be monitored. In summary, despite the challenges, more and more children with ASD are seeking post-secondary schooling or are seeking work. Many institutions are not prepared to support the challenges these students face, and self-advocacy is an important skill that our students can use to access the supports and services they need and deserve. Families should be better supported, as we know that strong family involvement helps our children both academically and vocationally, and more research is needed in this area.